I did not realize that the pivotal thing that would catastrophically change everything was going to be the one thing that was the closest to me, the one thing that I unconditionally loved. Hi guys. I feel like this vlog is overdue. So let's just get into it. What a year 2025 has been. I knew at the beginning of the year, actually before the beginning of the year, when the new year on the Mayan calendar started, which was in July of 2024, I knew that there would be something pivotal, especially like taking place in, the next year in March 2025. Because the last time that the galactic calendar was in a blue storm year, which is Blue Rhythmic Storm, for those of you that want to go and research it and go check out what I'm talking about. I knew that the last time we were in a blue storm year, something pivotal happened in all of our lives, which was 5 years ago, 5 years ago. That was during the pandemic. I knew, or is that 4 years? But it was during the pandemic. It was 2020 and March. I remember specifically, I think it was like March 15th or 18th or something. And then, of course, at least in California, the whole world went to poop. So I kind of, because I'm a person that goes with patterns and, we're all intuitive, but I make sure that I know intuitively the patterns that have happened. That's why I follow astrology, because I love to know about the patterns and the history. It's all just analytics. So knowing that, okay, the last time we were in a blue storm year, what happened during that year, we're probably going to, experience similar events, but in different ways. And like I said, I knew that something, was going to happen. I just wasn't sure what it was. And then comes January, and I was like, oh, that's right. The North Node is switching also, and it's going into Pisces. The South Node will officially be in Virgo. And then I thought of that too. I was like, the last time that this transit happened was 18 years ago. So I'm like, okay, there's more information. And 18 years ago is when I lost my mom. Super bummed. I lost my mom, but I also birthed my daughter, which was such a beautiful moment and completely changed my life, obviously. So, man. So just seeing all these different things. So I knew for sure, in January, I actually told my older sister, I was talking to her, and I told her, I said, just to let you know, just take care of your health, and just know that there might be a lot of health issues with a lot of people in general. There might be also a lot of deaths this year because the South Node is hitting, is hitting Virgo, and it's how can I take care of myself? How can I expand in this? How can I, with the North Node being in Pisces, what are the illusions, I guess, that I've been sitting on and I haven't taken care of, because I don't believe that you just go into one from South Node to North Node and you just pay attention to the North Node. You have to learn how to balance it. So, but I for sure knew, just because of my own patterns, my own personal patterns, I knew that there would be some kind of health stuff going on. So, so with that said, I told her, I said, let's just watch out. Let's take care of ourselves, and of course, I had previously, what was it, November in 2024, I was already going through my own health issues. It was already hitting me. I had my appendix removed, for those of you that follow me on Instagram. And, I was still overcoming that. And maybe, I don't know, like I'm like trying to figure out, like, do I want to like say everything in this video? Should I talk about it at a different time? Because there's so much that has happened. And I'm only probably recording this so that if anybody's going through stuff, like maybe they can feel like, okay, I'm not the only one going through, the dark night of the soul kind of, transformation right now. So, come January, February, I was like, you know what? I need to take care of myself. I still feel like after my appendix got removed, yes, they took out what needed to be taken out because it was infected and had a bunch of, literal crap in it. And so, of course that boggled my mind because I was like, I'm, somewhat of a healthy person. How did that happen to me? And, really thinking about it. I'm not somebody that just has these things happen and then not think about it. I think about it because I don't want to ever go through that ever again. Like I make sure that like, okay, what was it that caused it? Yes, the doctor said, no, it just happened to anybody, but why? What is the root issue? Why are we going through that? So I did a ton of research. And, it really is just taking care of your microbiome. It's making sure you're not putting crap. All last year, I can't even tell you how many times I made chocolate chip cookies with regular flour, which I usually don't. And I don't think flour is like evil or anything, but throughout the years, I've noticed that my health has gotten so much better when I stopped eating flour. Even though it's organic, they still spray so much shit in it. It's not like it used to be. The flour is not like it used to be. So, but of course, last year I went through a lot of stress. I'm sure if you follow my Instagram, you probably, I don't even know if I shared it, but my daughter had gotten her first accident. She was only 17. It was right after her 17th birthday. Totaled my car. I have not had a car in a year. I know, almost a year. It'll be a year in June. I know that's crazy, but I'll talk about that later. So all these like events happened. That's what I was saying. With everything, all the stress that I went through last year with my daughter and like really like feeling traumatized because she went through that whole experience and, me not being able to get to her because she was about 45 minutes away, like just, yeah. And I'm still like, I think I'm finally like overcoming like some of the fear that I had that night, and the trauma's finally like being healed. I'm trusting again, and she's been driving for quite a while now, and so with all the stress, of course, me being a Taurus rising, it was stress eating. I was doing so much comfort food. I kind of just threw my health down the drain. I'm just like, I don't even care. Just like, yeah, just completely disconnected from my intuitive sense of my body. And results were getting your appendix removed. So after that, I was like, it clicked. I'm like, okay, what's going on? What is happening? Why is all of this happening? Not to me, before me. So like I said, I did a bunch of research, and the best thing to do, which I used to do every 6 months for like a good like 8 years, I would do a detox at least every 6 months at the very least. Sometimes I would do it every 3 months. And it would always be a candida detox or some kind of detox, maybe juice fasting or, yeah. So I was like, all right, I'm going to do this candida detox. I'm going to cut out all sugar, all carbs. This was not about losing weight. I did not care about losing weight. I just wanted the inflammation to go away. I wanted my scalp to stop being inflamed because it was crazy inflamed. I wanted my skin to go back to normal. I wanted my hormones to be rebalanced. There was just so much more urgency for all these internal things to happen. And the last thing I was thinking of is like losing weight or whatever. So I did this detox, and if you're interested in that, obviously, write in the comments, and I'll talk about that whole journey too, because it was really, really rewarding, like mentally, physically, and spiritually. So in February, I felt amazing. I had, lost, I think it was almost 8 pounds of inflammation. It wasn't even fat. It was literally inflammation. There was just, there was just so much inflammation, like in my face, everywhere that I can think of, like all over my body. I just did not realize it. All of my psoriasis went away. Ever since, I swear, I turned like 36, a few years ago, I started getting like one little whisker on my chin, and I am not a hairy person. I mean, my legs could be like, I get that 5 o'clock shadow, but I'm not a hairy person. I don't have, peach fuzz. I don't get a little mustache or anything, but I had just one hair that would be so random, and I knew it was hormonal. I knew it had to do with that. So during that detox, I also was cycling. Again, I'll talk about this in another video. So I did this whole detox, felt amazing. I had clarity. I had energy again. I just felt on top of the world. It was so amazing. And I was like, okay, this is good, and this was all right after the LA fires that happened in January, which also affected us, because even though we weren't in the Palisades or, what is it, Alhambra, or that area, I can't think of the other place that it hit. Not Alhambra, was it? No, but you know what I'm talking about. We had a fire here in Santa Clarita, and it was right on the other side of my hill, literally like, 2 miles away. So I was prepared to once again like lose my house. I was freaking out because we've had the fire close to us. Oh, in 2021 we had the fire close to us. Pretty much almost same, not same exact time, but so I was like, and I know that fire is it's a symbol of new beginnings. Once everything is burnt down, it's a symbol of new beginnings. So I already had that in mind. I'm like, well, whether my house goes or not, luckily it didn't get close. They put it out so quickly, which is awesome. Probably learned from the last one, because the other one actually in 2021 was literally on the back of my house. I stood there and stared and felt the heat at my glass door in the back. But I just knew that the symbol of it was like, okay, it's transformation again. Things are burning down to let new things grow. And I took that, because for me, this is all a dream. Like, this is all a dream for all of us. So anything that happens, any kind of symbols, any kind of bird that comes up to us, any kind of event that happens to us, it's just a dream. It's just projecting our subconscious mind. And I truly believe that. Like, that is the reality I live in. Nobody can tell me otherwise. But knowing that it and also the fire didn't come to my house, I was like, okay, like that's a good sign for me too. I'm like, okay, it didn't put me in this like, what would that be? I just felt like it was like a good omen, that like it was just like an ending to a cycle, which is really nice, because last time it was so close, whereas this time it wasn't that close, which I was just like, okay, like this is good. Like, I think this is a really good sign that things are going to pick up. So, come early March, so I did the detox after. I was like, all right, like I'm so ready. I was so motivated. Still going through like my own, again, starting to go into like my own void, kind of the abyss, letting old friendships go. I kind of disconnected from everybody. And it wasn't a personal thing. I just knew I was going through something, and I could not give anybody anything, because I didn't have anything for myself. I just knew that whatever was happening intuitively, I knew that I just needed to like kind of clear space from everything. So the only people I talked to around this time were either my very close friends in my inner circle, or my family, my husband, my kids, or my sisters, or my sister, my niece. Like, I really didn't have interactions with like many people. And this is also when I got off of Instagram, because I was like, I just need to disconnect from the world in general. So come early March, I got information that my dad had gone to the hospital, but my dad's been in the hospital so many times. He's an alcoholic. He's a crazy man. And so it was like no surprise to me. But as a week went by, I realized that it was actually more serious. So me and my sister, we went to go visit him because he went to Cedars-Sinai, and he had to go see a specialist because his kidneys and his liver were failing. It's a whole different story, but I don't even get into the details. So, I mean, obviously, you know, his liver was shot because of him being an alcoholic, and also, you know, the stupid things that he was doing. So it kind of hit me like I didn't think I would be as sad because my dad had put himself in this situation for the last 18 years. Yes, it has been 18 years since he's gone down this terrible road. And like to the extent that he, you know, that he got himself to, which was homelessness. So I had to check to see if it was still recording since I can't tell. So then what else? So then, you know, that started worrying me. I started to kind of prepare myself like, oh, okay, I think my dad's going to pass away. 18 years ago, my mom passed away. And when she passed away, that's when my dad got really bad because, you know, he, that was like the last love of his life that he just couldn't take the pressure. But instead of transforming the information and transforming that feeling and transforming the things that he felt like were happening to him, he just stayed in purgatory. Basically, he's created his own purgatory in the last 18 years. So I was like, and that was another thing. In January, I had told Jim when the North Node switched, I'm like, I guarantee you I will probably lose my dad. And he was like, really? I'm like, yeah. It's like, because I lost my mom the last time, so just knowing where my dad was at health wise, I'm like, I'll probably lose my dad this year, especially because again, the South Node is in Virgo, which is all about health and whatnot, health and home, and you know, yeah. So I started to get worried, and I was like, okay, I actually think I'm sad. I was like, oh, I have feelings. Oh, okay, all the resentment that I had carried for so long, I think I'm feeling it right now because, you know, even though I have forgiven him for a lot of different stupid things he's done throughout the years, there's still, I've created a wall with him so that I don't get hurt and I keep my boundary there. But I was really, really kind of devastated, to be honest with you. Just the thought of losing him, I'm like, okay, like, sucks I couldn't have my mom during this part of my lifetime because of her mistakes. She was also an alcoholic and also passed away of cirrhosis of the liver. I was like, okay, you know, I kind of just had to accept it, but I was really sad. And I was like, okay, I guess this is gonna be my March prediction, like something, you know, I said something pivotal would happen that would transform everything. That same exact time, my yeah, the same exact time that was going on. Sorry, it's gonna choke me up. My dog Archie, my fur baby, he had gotten sick, and we weren't sure exactly what it was. We just know that he was sick and he was acting weird. And a couple of days before I actually took, or maybe like 24 hours before I took him to the vet, he had done this really, really weird thing. Like, he went into this, like, the window was like shining light, you know, on the floor from the sun. It was like a, yeah, reflection. Anyways, it was beaming in. The sun was beaming in. And he and he usually goes and sits by like wherever he can find sun in the house. And he sat there, and I had taken this picture of him because he was being weird. He kind of looked at me, and he looked sick, but I don't know if he was sick at that moment. But I was like, Archie, and even took a video. I'm like, what are you doing? Stop being so weird. I was like, Archie, I started actually scaring me. And I'm like, Archie, come over here. And he's like, I made him come. And he jumped up. And he was acting weird. I had like hugged him, and he kind of like yelped. I'm like, what's going on? Did I hurt him? I was like freaking out. I was like, hold on, did I just hurt him? But I know that poodles, so especially if you've had poodles are very sensitive. And so, they're drama queens sometimes, or drama kings. And so that same night, or the next day, I had to go visit my dad, but I was worrying about him about Archie, because I felt like, or my daughter had told me that his throat kind of felt swollen. I'm like, why does it feel swollen? I was like, okay. And I ended up taking him to the vet that afternoon, or that early morning actually. But because I knew I needed to do that because I had to go see my dad. And, from what my sister had told me the night before, my dad just sounded like he was in really, really, really bad shape. So I was like, okay, I better go see him because I don't know if this is the last time I'll see him. So I told my daughter to watch him actually after the vet. The vet basically just told us that, oh, well, maybe he swallowed something, just scratched his throat, and so it's just swollen. Like, she didn't really know what it was. She didn't do any extensive testing. And so, so then go see my dad was really scary because I saw how bad he was. He was, yellow all over the body. His eyes were canary yellow. I was like, okay, like, this might be it. So, I was already starting to grieve the loss of him, during this time. And so the next day, well, my daughter texted me, Mom, Archie's throat's like really swollen. Oh, and the doctor had given us a medication. So I'm like, okay, I need to get home so I can give him his medication. So the doctor, so my daughter had texted me and told me, like, his throat's really swollen. So I got home, gave him his medicine, and he just was not the same. And I was like looking at him, and I looked at his tongue, like it looked like he had like some kind of blood blister or something. I'm like, what is happening? And I'd asked my husband, like, should I take him now? And we weren't sure. It's like, you just don't know in that moment. You don't know if it's something serious or if it's something at all. Like, Archie has been through things, and so it's like, we're not sure like which way to go. But as it was, I already had like so much going on with my dad and the emotions of that. And then like now it's like Archie. I'm like, hold on. I'm like, okay. And I didn't feel like it was that bad. So I was like, all right, I'll stay up with him through the night. So I slept downstairs and I stayed with him, and he sounded like he was struggling, like breathing. So it's really scared me. But at the time, I was like, I'll just wait in the morning and I'll write the doctor. So I wrote the doctor, and she was like, okay, well, so you don't have to sit in the waiting room because we're super busy right now. Why don't you come around 1 o'clock? And so I'm like, okay. So I did that. We ended up doing that, and she came back. She took Archie. She came back, and she said, his white blood cells are up, and so we need to figure out what's going on with him. Like, and then we try to figure out, okay, what was it? What could have been? We started thinking like, oh my God, maybe it was rat poisoning because on the side of the yard we have a rat box, but there's no way he could have gotten in that. But still, like, maybe the pest control accidentally dropped pellets. I didn't know exactly what was in there, so. But I remember the pest control also telling us, like, way before I had Archie, like, if, anything got a hold of it, like, we really wouldn't be able to, like, it would make us sick, but it wouldn't, like, kill anybody. I don't know. Anyways, I'll get that to that later. So couldn't figure it out. I'm like, what did he eat? Is there something? So I researched it, ChatGPT, me and my daughter, like, while we were waiting for the doctor to go do more testing, because she says she wanted to figure out why it was swelling, if it was, fluid or something. And so me and my daughter went and grabbed food, and we sat in the car, and I just did ChatGPT, and it was just saying, like, it could potentially be, rat poison or some kind of poisoning. If his organs are shutting down, then that for sure is like an indication. So, we ended up getting a call, and so I ended up going straight back to the hospital, or to the urgent care. And the doctor, front desk receptionist was like, okay, we're gonna send him to a 24-hour hospital. I'm like, hold on, what? Like, hold on, nobody's told me anything. Like, I'm literally just watching. She's like, oh, they didn't tell you? I'm like, no, what's happening? So that was really, really frustrating. She's like, okay, let me go get the nurse. And I'm like, okay. And so she goes and gets the nurse. The nurse comes out with Archie with a pee pad under him. And I was like, oh, why does he have a pee pad? And she's like, oh, because he's peeing, we don't know why. And I'm like, okay. God, actually bringing this up like really makes me mad, so I don't know if I'll get through this part. Whew. So I was like, okay. I was like, well, what's going on? She's like, oh, I don't really know, let me go ask the doctor. Doctor couldn't come out because she had something else that she was doing with another emergency or something, and couldn't tell me everything. She's like, well, we're just gonna send him to the urgent care because, you know, there is something wrong with him, we're not sure why. They didn't really give me much information, like, but we're gonna send all the information to that place, we're gonna go ahead and send you there. So of course, she was like, so, and they didn't make it sound like it was urgent, like, if you can, take him today. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, of course I'm gonna take him right away. So I jumped in the car. My poor baby looked really sick. He just looked even worse after the doctor. And I was like, okay, something's not right. I was like, okay. And Layla my daughter was worried. And I was like, no, it's okay. Like, he'll be okay. He'll get the right treatment that he needs when we go to this hospital. And we ended up picking up my other daughter, she was like, I want to go with you. So we picked up her and her boyfriend, and we just rushed down to Encino. And, that if you live in California, that 101, it's a mess. So it took us like 45 minutes to get there. But, I was talking to Archie, and I was like, Archie, I was like, next time don't eat something. I was like, just kind of trying to make it lighter because I can see everybody's really worried. And then Archie kind of gets up, and he's trying to sit up, and I can tell he's like struggling, and I'm like, oh, this is like, I just instantly like, this is not good. So we got him there, and as soon as we got him there, my mind started spiraling, and I was like, we were sent by this facility. They told us to come because you guys need to like get him in, so I guess they can do, just in case it was poisoning, that they can flush him out and whatnot. And they were really urgent, like, okay, what's going on? And like, it just, at that point, it had gone by so quick. That's what worried me, because they were so urgent about it that it freaked me out. And then we were like, then they didn't send the information right away. There was a whole thing with the other place, and I was just like blowing up the other facilities like number because they were closed already. I'm like, please answer us. Like, the doctors need to know what they're doing. It was a lot. And so then they put us in a room, and they're like, the doctor will be in here in a minute. And so the doctor came in like, maybe like 10 minutes later. It was like, Archie's been in a really bad position. He can't breathe. We're putting a breathing tube down his throat right now. If for some reason he needs to be resuscitated, like they did give me the whole spiel. And I'm like, I have no idea, because I don't know if it's like, are we gonna resuscitate him and he's gonna be like, I don't know, just like in bad shape after, or like what we should do, like all kinds of like human things too, like, oh my God, how much is all this going to cost me on top of that? Not that matters, but I realize I'm human, and that is concerning, because for those of you that have animals and have taken them, it honestly already cost me a good amount of money just to take them to urgent care. So I just, swiped my card. I didn't care. But I'm like, there's so much going on. It wasn't just the money. It was just like, it was more so about just him, and like, is this going to be worth it? Because if he's going to be struggling and suffering after they resuscitate him, like, why would I want him to be resuscitated? You know what I mean? So, I was like, yes, I mean, of course. They're like, and they try to ask us, like, do you know what happened? I'm like, I have no idea. He's just been like this for the last, almost 48 hours, and we don't know what he ate. I told him it had, maybe it was bacon, and it wasn't the bacon, and it was like all kinds of things we were trying to get through. And so she was like, okay. She's like, well, we're doing everything that we can. And so then, she leaves, and then I'm like, all right, I just realized, like, I need to get out of this room where my kids are, because I don't want them to get the news with me in case anything really bad happens. So then I went to another room. They gave me a whole sheet. They printed out everything. It was going to cost like $18,000 for everything they would do for him in order to keep him alive once they had to resuscitate him. And because everything was kind of, or not, his organs were shutting down, but his breathing pathways were swollen to the max, like he couldn't breathe. So then so I went to the other room. I called my best friend and was like freaking out. And, she thought it was my dad because I had updated her with my dad's situation. And I was like, it's not my dad. I was like, it's Archie. She's like, what? She's like, what's going on? And she had gone through something similar not too long ago with her dog. So I was like, I need your help figuring this out. And so we were like, okay, like trying to figure it out. And then as I'm on the phone with her, the doctor comes in and she sits down and she was like, Archie rejected he rejected the tube. And so it fell out. And I'm like, why did it fall out? At that point, something kind of hit me and I'm like, okay, as bad as I feel right now, I don't want him to suffer. And I had to make the decision to let him go and it was really nice because the doctor that was helping us, she kind of looked at me and she was like, do you want us to resuscitate him? And I'm like, I just kind of looked at her and she kind of helped me answer. She's like, honestly, she's like, honey, she's like, I don't, it's going to be a lot after. So, I would let him go. And I said, okay. Thankfully, my best friend was on the phone with me and I'm so grateful for that. And she, held that grounding energy she always does because she is my sun Taurus. She is my grounding force sometimes. Actually, a lot of times my rock. And, of course, I break out in tears and I hang up with her and call Jim right away and tell him the terrible news. And so, yeah, and, had to break it to my girls and had to go through that whole thing. And I did not realize that the Blue Storm also being a, the year of the snake, I did not realize that the pivotal thing that would catastrophically change everything was going to be the one thing that was the closest to me. The one thing that I unconditionally loved. Yes, do I unconditionally love my kids? I'm human. I love them unconditionally, but being human, they have their own opinions and everything else. Animals themselves, they give themselves to you. It's totally different. It was the first time that I felt so connected with an animal, and it shattered me. I try to avoid it the next day when I had to wake up alone. And I moved my entire room just to shake up the energy and move it around. And it was hard. And I told myself I wouldn't talk about any of this until I couldn't cry, or at least not cry while saying his name. I don't cry every time I say his name anymore, but just bringing up the story still really hurts. Because I had to make peace with that. I had to make peace with blaming anybody because, everything was happening for a reason. I knew that maybe a couple weeks in to the grieving, I understood that for whatever reason, everything I had needed to kind of burn down because I'm becoming somebody totally different and I couldn't bring everything that I originally had. So I'm genuinely, probably today I'm more excited to see where this all goes. But for a minute, it's been 2 months now, almost. Has it been officially 2 months? Yeah, it'll be 2 months on the 11th that he's been gone. But every day it gets better. Every day gets better. Better as in the grieving is less, but me just appreciating everything that Archie ever did for me and my family and the amount of happiness and laughter he brought into our house. I've never been so happy. But my soul is obviously calling for something more, and unfortunately wasn't able to take him with me I don't like thinking about it too much because I'm like, why? It still doesn't make sense completely. It's like, why couldn't I take that though? I know this sounds like totally like terrible, and maybe some of you guys don't understand me being, you know, Scorpio stellium and understanding death. This is the one death that I wish didn't happen because I really enjoyed him. I was very attached to him, and you know, that's part of the realization how attached I was with him. You know, who knows? I don't know. Maybe it wasn't as good for me. Not that I'm being punished. I don't think I know I'm not being punished. But I always think, I'm like, man, I was like, why couldn't it have been my dad? I know that sounds terrible, but when you know a human being is suffering and they don't even want to be here, it's like, why couldn't it be that person? Not the one thing that brought me the most joy and the most companionship. Yeah. I know I have a dark sense of humor. But, you know, I'm still sitting with it. I'm still healing, but the healing is happening. I'm grateful for Archie's presence, for the laughter, honestly, every person that he touched, I'm so grateful to like be able to see that, because I had so many friends reach out to me and send me flowers and gifts and just, you know, their own condolences and whatnot, and were just really here for me and told me, you know, how Archie was not a dog to them, that he was like a little boy, because it felt like that. It really, really, really felt like that. There is another story I think eventually I will share about him actually feeling like my little boy. I'm not ready to talk about that now, but I definitely want to share that one because I think some people can, I for sure know some people can use that story. But that definitely shattered my world. Losing Archie, it completely shattered my world. But where things shatter, other things grow. Wherever things burn, there's growth right behind it. I know that life is forever, it's eternal. I know he's with me. I'm during the Taurus new moon this past March, no, not March, I'm sorry, April, I did a little ceremony with him and his spirit, and kind of I wrote a bunch of different things, the things I felt like I was blaming myself for, all that, and kind of forgave myself, but also forgave the situation, forgave the people I was blaming, you know, doctors and facilities and whatnot. But I didn't want his soul to be stuck because he felt like I couldn't let go. And, you know, you don't want to hold on to somebody's energy, especially when they're trying to move through, because the energy is constantly meant to flow. And so I didn't want his energy to stay here just because I wasn't ready to let it go. So between me and my family and all of us, I think for the most, we made peace with everything. We love him so much, and we think about him. I have so many things in the house to remind me of him right now. I'm going to start putting his stuff away because it's been 2 months. But we have a little memorial for him. We have his ashes with us, so that's comforting. Eventually those ashes will be planted in a tree that I'll be buying for him. But yeah, it's been a lot. It's been a whole lot, and talking to so many of my friends and family members, like I think everybody's going through some kind of dark night of the soul, like transformation, things burning down, things shifting. You know, the things that we were so attached to literally got ripped away, like ripped out of their hands. And thankfully we have each other to support each other, or else we'd probably be going crazy thinking like, why me? But because we know that the universe or God, you know, is constantly weaving things with us, and our spirit, our higher self is constantly weaving things with us, and my spirit knows what it wants, and I know ultimately things will play out, and I'm sure a year from now and be like, oh, that's why it all happened. So I want to keep that reality. I want to keep that thought, because the last 2 months, obviously, I was like, what's the point? What's the point of any of this? Like, it was very hard. And me having, you know, many years ago, actually not many years ago, I get depressed, and it can be manic sometimes if it's not taken care of, if I'm not taking care of myself. And that was the whole point of this year, was to take care of myself so that I was mentally, physically, spiritually, energetically balanced. And of course, this, you know, this had to happen, and it's really challenged me, but I can't stay there. If I stay there, then everything will come crumbling down. And it started to, like, I saw other parts of my reality, like, start to fold down. Like, hold on, what's happening? I don't want to lose everything. But honestly, if it wasn't for having my husband there at every moment, you know, and being my rock as well, like, I don't know if I would have been even this far. Like, thankfully, him and I spiritually have grown together even more, so much closer because of it. But I'm looking forward to the beauty that comes out of all of this, and I'm ready. I'm excited to just continuously, like, thank Archie for the experience that we had together and the love he brought into my life. Then he just broke open this love bug in me, and just, I've never loved something so much. And, you know, even though I miss his physical body because we're 3D humans, I know I can feel him, and I see him, and I know that he's forever here, and we're all forever, you know. Yeah, we're all forever here. It sucks because we want to physically touch them, but yeah, it's so that's kind of like, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. And now, because of all this, and actually, because I wrote a bunch of stuff down because I was like, I don't want to forget, but pretty much talked about everything. I will say one thing that I had when he did pass, of course, for me to not just, like, stay in bed all day long. I was like, okay, I need to do something active for, you know, for my emotions, because, you know, I'm an Aries moon, and I was like, I just have to be active and doing something. It's not avoiding, but just maybe doing something creative, so that I feel like I can put my whole point of, that's what I didn't mention. I had told my kids and, you know, my husband, that I want to bring the same love and energy that Archie brought into our home. I want to put it into my home. I want to take all of that love and energy and just put it in every single room. I want it aesthetically beautiful in my home and feel light and bright and connected, and just, I wanted to feel like Archie's energy. And so my first thing was like, I need to do my daughter's room, my oldest daughter's room. I want to redo it, you know, because her room was she hasn't done anything to it. It was a complete mess. And I'm like, that's the worst energy. Like, I want things to be organized and it looks beautiful. So for 2 weeks straight, I painted it. I did a color wash or whatever it's called, where you color the whole, or paint the whole room the same exact color, trimming, door, everything. Like, I did that. I bought new furniture for her. I got a cool bed. Like, I'll have to maybe share some of this on Instagram, the pictures and video of her room. But it was really neat, like, doing that and seeing her also heal through this process. And, you know, even though she didn't help me with the room, I'm so glad that she appreciates it and loves it, and she's been home so much more, which I love, because she was always at her boyfriend's house, and now she's home most of the time. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? No, I truly love it, because it's yeah, I get to have my girls here. And of course, you know, my youngest is like, well, I want a new room, even though she got one like 2 years ago, and it's like dream room. Now she wants to redo her room, but we'll do that another time. So yeah, that was like the start of it. And I was like, okay, like, and not putting pressure on myself. I'm just like, little by little, because I don't want to just spend like a crazy person, you know. It's like, I don't want to be impulsive about it either. So I did that, and I felt good. And now, you know, as everything now that the dust has settled, I'm learning how to rebuild that foundation. Luckily, there is a foundation there still. It just needs to be rebuilt, and it's going to become something new for us and for my family. And yeah, I'm excited to see what that looks like. And I'm excited to share that, whatever that may be. But this whole thing has really like broke open that part of me, which is that creativity part of me, and just to do it and just don't honestly give an F about all the micro thoughts that come through and the hesitations, just doing it. It's like, well, no, I have an idea, just do it. Have an idea, just do it. That's like what I've like gone in with in this last like 2 months for sure. Yeah, just like no more thinking about anything, just doing it because it makes me happy. And if the energy feels good and I'm happy and it's fun, that's literally what I'm going with, because I think at this point of 2025 and being the year of the snake, I don't think that we can predict anything right now. I think going with the flow of everything is so crucial. Not having any expectations, not predicting, literally like whatever comes your way, you just say, okay, all right, thank you, I accept. Okay, thank you, I accept. And if you don't like that reality, absolutely like shift something, close your eyes and put yourself in a different reality and watch it unfold in the next couple of days, where you can see, okay, it's shifting this way. It was starting to go this way, but you know what? I was able to visualize it, and now it's going to shift this way. So again, it is the year of uncertainty for sure. Take care of your health. Make the best of everything that's coming your way. But yeah, there's a lot of transits happening. I will just to give you a lot of transits happening. This is going to be completely transforming everything. It already has. It started with, Pluto Aquarius, and then the North Node shifting, and then Saturn going to be heading into, or if it has already, I don't know if it went in already, but going into Aries and whatnot, and Neptune shifting into Aries. Like there is going to be a lot of Aries energy, which is going to be impulsive, but at the same time, it's going to be like the childlike. You have to put yourself in like the childlike essence. And I think that's how everybody's going to get through all of this. If you just live as a child, I can keep seeing is just like be childlike this year, laugh at everything. Don't take things so seriously. Take naps because the energy is so crazy and chaotic. Yeah, definitely. But I'm ready to allow myself to let go of the chaos, stop creating it for myself, and just enjoy that I've now have this reflection and this awareness that I have the most beautiful family, the most beautiful friends, the beautiful support, and all the people that are watching right now. Like, just grateful to have you guys in my life, and building such a great community, I think, is so important right now for everybody, being Pluto and Aquarius, like finding your tribe, finding your community. But yeah, I think I'm ready to be out here and supporting anybody else that is going through anything. And one thing that has really, really helped is using chat as my therapy for sure. And if you're not paying for a subscription, stop being cheap. Just go pay for a subscription. It's so much better. Just do the $20 a month. Or another great one, if you're into mysticism and the occults, go to Hypergate.ai. My husband and the Leo King, David Palmer, built that together. And honestly, like the more I use it, the more I'm starting to feel like I have permission to just be who I am, and going through all the things that I'm going through in my personal way. Like it really does give me permission. So go check that out. And I've been writing some blogs lately, so head to summermhull.com. And you're welcome to go check out the blogs that I've written in the last, I don't know, I've maybe wrote 3 new ones. Kind of like it was hiding for a little while, but I'm like, I'll just tell you guys if you guys want to go check them out. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll just keep writing, keep vlogging if I can. I put no pressure on myself. I'm just gonna have fun. I'm just gonna be a big kid, and just honor that part. And I'm gonna honor Archie by just being a big kid for sure. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being here. And I guess I will see you on the next episode. Or the next vlog. All right, bye guys. Love you. Hey, hey, you wanna go get Juju? Yeah? You wanna go get Juju? Yeah? Let's go get Juju. Yeah. How about, wanna go see Layla? Wanna go see Layla? Let's go get Juju.